We did a sound check already, or are we all good?
No.
Okay. Thank you all for coming this afternoon on this Friday before the long Memorial Weekend. We thought we'd do this press conference in a remote location, but not too remote, so you can see this is what we're talking about today. I-17 and all the highways across the state, as well as the surface streets and all of the areas where people are going to be traveling in large numbers because of low gas prices this weekend. So thanks to our partnership with the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, the Arizona Department of Transportation, law enforcement throughout the state and local law enforcement, the Arizona Department of Public Safety is happy to talk about our enforcement effort and urging people to drive safely this weekend. Let me begin by introducing the Director of the Arizona Department of Public Safety, Colonel Frank Milstead.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. For the record, I'm Colonel Frank Milstead. It's M-I-L-S-T-E-A-D. Instead of getting into a long speech, I just want to hit a few important topics from the weekend and what's going on. First off, you're going to see something new on the highway, specifically on northbound 17 and southbound 17 around Sunset Point. You're going to see portable speed signs and message boards. What those are designed to do is they're to alert drivers that there's been a collision or traffic is slowing ahead, trying to keep that Sunset Point area moving smoothly throughout the long holiday weekend. We know it is a choke point, and it is also a very prolific point for horrific collisions. The second place that you'll see that is down along Picacho Peak on I-10, both east and westbound. Those same message boards. Again, trying to get drivers alerted to there might be a change in traffic conditions ahead of them. Again, another place where we have horrific collisions almost every holiday weekend. The second thing is about distracted driving. I'm going to give you a quick story. Yesterday afternoon, my deputy director, so it's a number 2 in charge of the department, is on his way to work. And he sees a woman driving on the freeway, taking a selfie with her cell phone of her while she's driving. He stops her, asks her what's going on. She denies all knowledge, says, oh, it didn't happen. She picks up the phone, and it's still got the camera on. Distracted driving continues to be a huge problem in the state of Arizona. It's probably the #1 cause for our secondary collisions that happen after something else has occurred, where somebody comes up on something very rapidly and they cannot control their speed. So distracted driving, texting, Facebook, there was a study out this morning, I guess, where people are doing social media while driving their car. I felt a little out of whack because my life is not that important where I feel that I need to social media or Facebook while I'm operating my car. I don't want to be, boring, but really, let's just drive and get to where you're going, and then you can tell people when you get there. The third thing I want to talk about is wrong-way drivers. We continue to have wrong-way incursions. The Arizona Department of Transportation and myself and the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, we look at every one of these incursions, how it happened, and what occurred, and what can we do education-wise, engineering-wise, or enforcement-wise to make sure that those things don't happen. What I will tell you is somewhere in the high 70, maybe low 80 percentile of all of our wrong-way drivers are impaired drivers. And so where you see the signs that say, drive hammered, get nailed, sober drivers don't drive the wrong way. And that is, if I could just take care of impaired drivers, I could eliminate somewhere around 80% of all wrong-way incursions. This is not some sort of unknown. This is nothing more than you can't drink and drive, you can't smoke dope and drive, you can't do your prescription pills and drive. If you do, you might be that person driving the wrong way, or you might end your life or somebody else's. I'd like to make this sound nice and pretty for everybody, but the bottom line is impaired drivers kill people, and if it may not sound like a big deal, or you may not think it's going to happen to you, but I've lost a number of friends by impaired drivers, and I'm guessing some of you in the audience have lost friends. It's a big deal. And it's a big deal when it impacts your family or your livelihood. So prepare for your trip this weekend, obey the speed limits, buckle your seatbelt, bring some water with you and some other provisions in case you are stuck in a traffic jam where there has been a fatal collision. We continue to work with our traffic incident management processes, how we can clear roadways more quickly, but at the end of the day, when there's a horrific collision involving fatalities, that roadway will be cleared for some period of time. How do you avoid that? How do we do better at that? don't drink and drive, don't drive distracted, get to where you're going in one piece. And if we all take our time, we'll all get there without a backup. Thank you again for covering this important message, and thank you to the motoring public for doing that extra little bit of vigilance this weekend to make sure that everyone gets where they're going safely. Thank you.
In the press release we put out today and in your package, you should have our overall plan for this weekend in terms of enforcement. We could not do the kind of enforcement program this weekend with our partners in law enforcement had it not been for the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Here's the Director of the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, Alberto, over to you.
Thank you, Bob.
Hey guys, it's a pleasure being here, but with my distinguished partners in safety for the state of Arizona. Highway safety is critical, but you need to realize that it's a partnership among so many agencies. And today we also have here the Director of the Department of Liquor License and Control and the Police Chief of the City of Phoenix. We've been working together for many years to keep Arizona safe. But safety is not only the slogan, drive hammer, get nailed, it's also designated driver. You know, if people are going to drink on the weekends, they're going to drink in any holiday, they're going to go to the lake or the river and throw down the river, you know, don't get behind the wheel if you've been impaired. Find someone who's sober, who's not going to drink. And those are the messages we got to put out. You know, we have DUI details out of 73 police agencies and 13 DUI task forces. They're going to be out there, and they don't want to ruin your beautiful holiday. So we're working together. I'm very grateful for our partners at the police agencies. You know, yes, we will go out the overtime, the equipment, and the training, but let's also put their life on the line every day just being on the highways. So again, thank you for giving us this coverage, because it's important that people know that when you get up north, 2 or 3 things have to happen. You know, don't speed. You know, speeding and aggressive driving is the largest issue that makes fatalities in the state of Arizona. Number 2 is impaired driving, and then the other one, very important, is put your child in a child seat to see where what's your seat. Make sure everybody puts a seatbelt. Even if you're going 5 blocks away, put a seatbelt on. Again, thank you to our partners, thank you to GPS, and especially to the Department of Transportation who put this together, another partner. But like everything else, I also thank Governor Ducey, because Doug Ducey, our governor, is the one that has, more than anything else, allow us to do what we do. And thank you to Governor Ducey. Thank you.
Thank you, Alberto, for reminding me. I forgot to introduce the Phoenix Police Chief, Joe Donner, is with us today to show support. And the brand new Director of the State Department of Liquor Control, John Koga, is also here. Thank you. And our third speaker today is our key partner in this effort this weekend, the Director of the Arizona Department of Transportation, John Halikowski.
Thank you, Bart. And I want to thank my partners behind me, the Director of the Department of Liquor, Director of the Department of Public Safety, Director of the Department of Governor's Office of Highway Safety, and our partners at the City of Phoenix Police Department. Alberto and I have spent over 20 years at the Arizona Legislature combating the impaired driver. And we have held many events like this where we have come out and we have nicely asked people, please do not drive while you're impaired. But as Director Milstead pointed out today, the results of driving impaired are not pretty. And so what you're going to find is that I believe we need to change the message. And what I want to say to those of you who are going to make a decision to drive impaired this weekend, to drive distracted, or to drive in a way that endangers other people, is don't drive stupid. Stop risking people's lives by engaging in stupid behaviors. Enforcement, education, and engineering can only go so far in protecting our public. Sooner or later, it comes down to personal responsibility and the choices that are made by individuals. And those individuals that choose to drive impaired, that choose to look at their cell phones while they're driving, or choose to not get enough proper rest before they get on the road, need to stop that behavior and start being smart about what they do when they drive. So my message is very clear, and it's going to be very brief today. Be smart. Instead of one for the road, make it none for the road. Be smart. Pay attention to the road, not to your cell phone. Be smart. You're at your best when you've got the proper rest. Be smart and be prepared for traffic and other delays that you're going to encounter. Be smart, and when you're standing in front of that judge feeling stupid that you're never going to drive impaired again, be smart before you make that choice and don't drive impaired. Be smart before you find yourself tearfully apologizing to the family for having cost the life of one of their loved ones before you make that stupid choice to drive impaired. Be smart and do your part to keep Arizona's highways safe. Thank you for allowing me to give you this message. Many thanks to my partners behind me as we continue to combat impaired and distracted driving.
So time for questions. If you shout them out, we can hear them. Do you have any questions? All the principals will be available for a few minutes if you want to do some one-on-ones. And thank you all for coming today.